Hello, hello, and welcome back to Space Engine. Where we left off, we were around this rather fantastic looking black hole. However, I actually have a rather extensive list of places I've been requested to go, so we're going to get started right away. First off, this will actually require me to go back to the sun. So let's go back to Sol, our home and pretty star. Right then. Someone requested that I go to all the major stars, within 13 light years. And there's actually a lot of stars within 13 light years, so I picked out a list of some of the more interesting ones, starting with everyone's favorite, Alpha Centauri. So, actually Proxima is technically the closest, but let's go to the Alpha Centauri system, and we'll go from there. Actually, no, maybe we'll start at Proxima, because I don't go to Proxima very often. Proxima Cent. Go to. Because Proxima is technically closer than the other ones. However, it is also small and crappy, and nobody likes it because of that. That's actually not true. I like Proxima Centauri. I just I prefer the other ones. I prefer Alpha Centauri B because it seems to be the most interesting in terms of potential habitability and life. But these are some nice planets. Of course, these are all theoretical. There is some evidence to suggest there might be some planets around Alpha Centauri and possibly Proxima, but we haven't actually found any, so not yet anyways. So there's Alpha Centauri. Where the hell are the other ones? Oh, that's Sirius. Oh, here we go. There's actually some question as to whether or not A Centauri, Ptolemine, Rigel Kentaurus, there's actually some suggestion whether or not Proxima is actually a part of the Alpha Centauri system, or if it's just passing through. Nobody really knows. We'll know eventually as we watch its orbit, but we're not entirely sure. Ptolemine B, Rigel Kentaurus B. I remember when I was learning a lot of these stars and stuff. Like my dad is big into astronomy. He's kind of one of the reasons why I'm into science and all that. It's funny, he's also a pastor. Anyways, but he made some like we were talking about different stars, and like we were just like in the car one time talking, and we were running through different star catalogs, and he was like, what's the like one of the official names for Alpha Centauri? And I was like, like this when I was like 12, 13, and I was like, oh, I don't remember, and he was like, I'll give you a hint, Superman. And I was like, Kent Clark? Oh, Rigel Kentaurus, like Rigel Kentaurus. So, Superman actually is the reason why I remember its name as Rigel Kent, or Rigel Kentaurus, is because of that. I love my dad, he's pretty cool. Anyways, Alpha Centauri, I've talked about it a lot, so, okay, let's not do that. So we're gonna go somewhere else. Up next on our fantastic adventure is Barnard Star, which is a star that I actually enjoy a lot. Fun fact about Barnard Star, it's got any planets in this. Oh wow, it has quite a few. A fun fact about Barnard Star is that it's actually been the target for a number of proposed interstellar probes. The most well-known one is Project Daedalus, which would use like a fusion drive to where it would use like fusion pellets that would be like injected into its engine core and fused, and they'd basically make little hydrogen bomb explosions like this, and they would shoot that out the back, and it would propel it quite quickly. Similar to the Orion drive that uses nuclear bombs, but instead of nuclear bombs on the outside, it uses fusion on the inside of a containment vessel. What an interesting planet. As far as my knowledge right now, I don't know if we've discovered any planets around Barnard Star. I might be wrong about that, because I actually haven't looked into it recently, but I'm pretty sure we haven't yet, but there's still some speculation about it. It's quite lovely here. But anyways, we have to carry on, because I have a lot of places to get to. Now the next one I added to the list, because it isn't actually a star. I wonder if it's actually even here. Oh, it is here, cool. But I wanted to add it, because I've actually been curious to check it out. It's technically a brown dwarf, and we don't know. And I'm going to use this as an excuse to talk about brown dwarfs, because they're kind of an interesting category of object. because they're not really stars, but they're not really planets. Like, it all comes down to really where they are, because it's like a brown dwarf is basically a very, very large Jupiter-like planet that got so big. No. I wish it wouldn't do that. It's a star. It's a star that got so big, or it's a planet that got so big that it's kind of a star, but it's not really a star. Like, it never got big enough to really undergo full fusion in its core. So it's mostly just doing some kind of nuclear reactions, but it's not fully ignited as a star. It's more just like it's like a failed star, or a very, very, very big hot planet, I guess is what you could call it, like a really big gas giant. So it's like if you have a brown dwarf orbiting a star, you can call it a companion or a planet, depending on what you want to really categorize it as. But if it's by itself, you can call it a star, or you can call it a rogue planet. It all comes down to how it formed. If it formed independently of a star system, like in an accretion, like, then it's probably then it's kind of a star, but kind of not. If it formed within an accretion disk of another star, then it's kind of a planet, but it could also be a companion. Like, they're really weird objects, and I love them because of that. Anyways, carrying on, we're going to go to everyone's favorite science fiction locale, Wolf 359. Yes, it is Wolf 359. What makes this really interesting is that it's a tiny little red dwarf that's pretty close by. I don't know if it has any confirmed planets as of yet. It might, though. But, ooh, that's an interesting place. What makes this place cool, well, is that it's close by, but also that it's, in the Star Trek universe. This is where the Battle of Wolf 359 took place, when the Borg came in and, wrecked Starfleet, like, horribly. Good times, and the episode's best of both worlds. But, that's Star Trek. That isn't reality, sadly. What a rather droll-looking planet. Well, it has a storm, I suppose. But it's also been a kind of a place, like a speculative place, to find planets and life and whatnot, because it's really close by, it's pretty easy to look at, it seems fairly stable. It's just a pretty cool place. Anyway, carrying on, we're going to go to Sirius, because everybody who's anybody goes to Sirius. So, we're going to Sirius. Boop. Now, of course, Sirius actually has two companions. Sirius B is a small little white dwarf companion. Let's actually go to it first, because it seems interesting. I'm trying to remember, is this the one where it's like pulling material off of its... No. No. It's a white dwarf that it used to be a star that went supernova. And coincidentally, that means that any planets that were around Sirius A were probably sanitized by Sirius B's death. Now, a white dwarf, this is actually what our sun's going to turn into when it dies. It's basically just the exposed, smoldering core of a star. It's like when a star, kind of like ours, gets old, it starts fusing helium, and then it grows really big, and then it starts shutting off its layers in large waves, producing a planetary nebula. And then in the center of this nebula, you have one of these, which is just a white dwarf, which these remain burning hot for a very long time, like billions of years. Like, they actually last longer than the age of the star itself. And then they kind of burn out, and they turn into basically just inert lumps of carbon and basically diamonds, because they're ultra compact crystallized carbon, essentially. Like when they cool off and expend all of their energy. So basically, I don't know if I've actually found any dead white dwarfs. They'd be really, really hard to find. They'd probably be X-ray emitters or infrared emitters, because they'd probably be really hot. But they'd be really, really hard to find otherwise, because again, they'd just be big lumps of inert diamond floating around the galaxy, and they'd be very, very, very tricky to find. But white dwarfs still glow enough that we can detect them. So, whereas the companion, Sirius A, is still a star. it's a white main sequence, so it's not a, it's a very short-lived star. Like, that's kind of a rule of thumb with stars, is the brighter, the closer to, like, the brighter the color, the shorter it lives, because it burns hotter and faster. So, like, blue and white stars burn really hot, and they burn for really fast, and they die. Red stars, like Wolf 359 and Gliese 581, like the red dwarfs, they burn for a very long time, because they're really cool, and they burn slowly. Well, they don't actually burn, they fuse, but it's just, you know, whatever. Colloquialisms. Anyways, carrying on, we are going from Cirrus to Epsilon Eridani, because who doesn't like Epsilon Eridani? Epsilon... Unless I'm going to have to do the actual catalog, and it's not going to actually show Epsilon Eridani. Oh shit, 1 second. Alright then, let's try... Eri... Oh wait. I think we got it. Ah, there we go, Epsilon Eridani. I was like, I had to look up its other names. It was like E, Erie, or Ran. Star. It's kind of dumb with stars have different multiple names, but I get why they do, so it's... Anyways, Epsilon Eridani is also a fan favorite in science fiction. Mostly because it's close by, and it's also the same kind of star as our sun. Well, it's not exactly. Ours is a G2, and this is a G8, but still. It is a very interesting place. What do we have in the terms of planets? I think these are actually real planets that have been discovered, because they have the proper catalog, so that would make sense, actually. Again, in the Star Trek canon, Epsilon Eridani was originally supposed to be the star that the planet Vulcan was around, but later on in the Star Trek canon, it was established that it was actually, like, Vulcan was actually 16 light years from Earth, so it was actually around Omicron Eps. And as a result, they decided to turn Epsilon Eridani into the location of the planet Axanar. So, yeah, there we go, Star Trek trivia. Not too much to say about this star, really. It's just aside from that it's a G yellow dwarf like ours, so it's kind of cool. It's basically a it's kind of like our sun, same kind of thing. Anyways, now we're gonna go to Procyon. Canis Majoris. Canis, or Minoris, actually, is different. And it's not showing up. 1 second. Right, its name's actually Procyon, or it's pronounced Procyon. But, there it is. It needed a capital. I guess it's a proper name, so it does need a name. Or, yes, I want to go to Procyon. That was uncomfortable. Yes, this is a binary star that it looks like it's actually one of the brightest stars. I think it's the 8th brightest star in the sky. It appears to be a single object, but again, this one also has a white dwarf companion that you can see with a telescope. It's interesting. But again, there isn't too much to say about this one. It's similar to Cirrus. But yeah, I guess it's close. It's also used a lot in science fiction, I suppose I could say that. And I'm now stuck in it. But being a white supergiant, it is probably going to explode at some point, and it will be spectacular. However, we're not going to be around to see it. Well, actually, it depends. I don't know. Anyways, carrying on. Because again, there's not so much to say about Procyon. It's just the closest star. It's on the way. Up next is 61 Cygnus on our grand tour of the closest major stars within 13 light years. We have Orange Dwarf and its companion. Yes, it's a two-part companion here. Let's go to this one, because why not? It's pretty nice. I think they've been looking for planets around it, haven't found any. I think it has an accretion disk around one of the stars. Or I'm thinking about something else. I'm not exactly sure about that one. And again, I don't like spouting bullshit that I don't know what I'm talking about. So if I don't know something, I'll just say I don't know. But yeah, okay. It's not much to say about that one either. Next on our list is Epsilon Indi. Epsilon Indi? Eps? Eps Iridani, that's not what I'm looking for. Does it have another name? Let's find out 1 second. Right then, let's just try Indi. Indi... No, not Cirrus. Indi... Epsilon... My mouse is very squeaky. Ah, there we go. Something a bit too much work than it was worth, but whatever. Epsilon Indi is also a fan favorite in science fiction just because its name sounds cool. Wormsolea. It's also it's an orange dwarf, so it's hotter than a red dwarf, cooler than an R star. Still a K, K5V. Metalocelate. Fun fact: the scientist, or say the person who discovered, or who came up with the star catalog thing, like the from K to O and whatever, was a woman who was working with working with an astronomer, and she developed this catalog system, and she had it memorized by in memory, and she was brilliant. Because in doing this catalog, she also inadvertently developed, because the catalog also shows the temperature of the star, and kind of its composition. So, yeah, she was brilliant, and she did a really good job. Well, she did a great service to science in that one. Oh, look at this little meteor, or little asteroid moon. How adorable! Just cruising by. But anyways, we have to carry on. I still have a place to get to, and I'm already 17 minutes in, and we're almost done. Oh no! Next one on our list is Tau Ceti. Tau Cet. Go to. Now, Tau Ceti is pretty damn cool because it's a yellow dwarf, kind of like our star again, and it actually has some confirmed planets around it. I don't know if they're being... No, these ones are all kind of the imaginary ones, but it does have some planets known to be around it, as well as some unconfirmed ones. And it's also been a big player in SETI and like search for extraterrestrial intelligence, and even science fiction, because it's like it's a very sun-like star, and it has possibilities of having habitable planets. And actually, some of the planets they discovered around it that need to either be a couple. I know a few of them have been confirmed. One of them hasn't been, and they do fall within the habitable zone of the star. So again, it's been studied with radio telescopes and whatnot, trying to hear alien signals. We haven't heard any yet, but everyone still hopes. A little moon, a little asteroid moon. It thinks it's a moon. Well, it's technically a moon. It's just very tiny. Da dun da dun. Oh, I love it. But yeah, so Tau Ceti is a really cool place. It plays a big role in everything. And I'd like to visit there sometime, just to see what's up. Actually, a game I was working on a while ago took place in Tau Ceti. I think I still have the files for that, but it was like a really shitty game. It's basically like you just walk around a desert and do stuff, and it was shitty. But that's not the important part. Next up is we are going to go to Captain Star. Now, I had someone ask me to go to Capplane B, and I'm pretty sure that's not a real star. I think he meant Captain B, because that is a real place. Now, what makes Capplane Star interesting is that it is really, really, really old. Like, it's only like, I think it's like 1 or 2 billion years older than the universe itself. Like, because like, if the universe is calculated to be like 14 billion years old, and it's like 13 odd billion years old, like it's a really, really old star. And it has confirmed planets around it. Like here's Captain B, which is, and I think one of them's actually in the habitable zone. I think actually Captain B is in the habitable zone. So it's a really cool star, and it's not really, it's kind of floating in through the galactic plane. Like it's kind of above the disk of the galaxy, but kind of floating by us. So it's a really cool cool star because it's positively ancient, and has these planets that some of which are actually in the habitable zone. So there's like an idea where it's like, what if life developed on one of these planets a long time ago? Because like on Earth, life developed on Earth pretty damn quickly after it cooled down. So, and the Earth is only 4 billion years old, whereas these planets could be anywhere around like 12 to 13 billion years old. So it's like if you had life developed on these planets a long time ago, you could have had multiple intelligent civilizations rise and fall on these planets, and maybe even they rose and they're still there, or maybe they rose and they left their home planet, like, or maybe there's no one there at all. That's probably the most likely option. But I still love the possibilities of there being like these ancient planets. Like what if we visit this planet and we find that there are ancient ruins from multiple civilizations that rise and fell through the course of the planet's billions and billions of year history, and it's fascinating, you know? Anyways, carrying on, the last stop on our list, if I can even find it, no guarantees of it even existing in the game, because it's a very small object. 535. Oh, I think I might actually be able to find it. 7. Well, wait. 5. So let's hear Y's 0535. 534. 67. 5342. I'm looking for 535. 5342 05445 05551. I don't know if it's here. It's just another brown dwarf, but it lays 13 light years away, so it's kind of like on the edge. But it's really hard to find. 0535. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's here. But I guess I'll have to end here at Captain B, because I can't find that one. So yeah, that was my list of exciting close stars within 13 light years. Next up, I had someone ask me to check out, to see if I can find the colonies from BSG, Battlestar Galactica, and told me just to look up the name. See if it's even here. I don't know if it's actually in the game. Cranes. I don't know if it's here. No, no, there's a Y there. CYRANNUS. Welcome to my exciting exploit of object not found. Yeah, I guess it's not there. Welcome to the grand exploits of watching a dyslexic person try to write and type out loud at the same time. I can read pretty fast in my head. I cannot read out loud to save my life, and typing, I can type fast, but when I'm typing something that already exists, it's a lot harder for me. Life is a pain in the ass, but it's exciting. Anyways, and the last one I was asked to go to was the Antenna Galaxies, so I figured I'd go to that one. Actually, I was asked technically to go here first in the comments, but I saved it for last, because I was going to be faffing around in the Milky Way, and I figured to check out the Antenna Galaxy at the end. I'm not sure if I've actually been here before, but, you know, let's get a nice little center it, and then just do some orbit around it. Oh, look at that. They're colliding galaxies. How pretty. Who knows what wonders we'll find here, buried amongst the disks of gas and dust, colliding and dancing in their swirling gravitational duet. And I just ruined everything. There we go. Actually, oh, I'm kind of curious. Oh, I think I have actually been here before in the series. Oh, no. I went to some galaxy like this. I remember because I found a star kind of off in one of the spiral arms that was like off to the edge. I can't see shit, Captain. And I wanted to see if I could find a planet that was looking over the galaxy. Screw it, let's go into the disks. Let's go between the galaxies, find something pretty in here. And I'll find a planet within this galaxy, and that will end off this episode. By planet, I mean an exciting one. Come on. I need to find some life. Ooh. That was an interesting axes. I also need to get my glasses fixed because I've had the same pair for years and years and years, and the lenses are no longer fully my prescription. It's a real pain. Which also makes something like this a little difficult, but not super bad. Screw it, I'll just find a random planet and go. Main sequence blue. That sounds like fun. Let's go there. Besides, blues are they're really bright. They're pretty. I like them. Really hot and short-lived, but they're pretty. A lot of the stars in the Pleiades are blue. Main sequence. Excuse me. Look at that. How pretty. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it off there. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have ideas for places for me to go, please say in the comments below. I was a little more on point this episode, staying on track with my topics, which is wonderful, because I was pretty all over the map last episode. But thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and also check out my campaign and donate if you can. Space.